Welcome in. It is so great to see you here for our weekly weather hangout. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Vickers. We've got meteorologist Matt Willoughby alongside as well, something we hope to engage and entertain you over the next few moments with a few weather fun items, but also a little small talk. And of course, now that we are on the other side of, Super Bowl Sunday, that's in the rearview mirror, and Valentine's Day. How was your Valentine's Day as well?
It was a good one, yeah. I spent it with my girlfriend, but it was definitely a good one. Crazy to think that we're already in the middle point of February already.
Can you believe it? And it feels more like spring. We've been treated to spring-like weather. People have been saying, well, what do you mean we're already almost through February? We haven't even had a winter yet.
Yeah.
What's the outlook for that? Because we are going to be talking about a little bit of a return to some wintry weather, which could include some ice and a couple snowflakes. Nothing major at this point, but we'll give you the latest on what to expect with that. And also, what else do we got coming up today in this weekly weather hangout, Matt?
Yeah, so we'll also be talking about how the Great Lakes have pretty much been non-existent as far as any ice cover and how it's just not going to happen this year.
So, listen, not going to happen because ice cover on Lake Erie just really has not materialized. Yes. You're going to break into the data, and if you've been holding on to it and saying, well, wait a minute, we still got a couple weeks left in February. We know March. It takes a long time for that ice cover to build up on the lakes. So this is just going to be what we'll say is pretty much a lost season as far as ice fishing goes. I've never gotten into it, but I know it's very popular across this area and also could be very dangerous as well whenever you venture toward Lake Erie with the ice flows and, of course, making sure you maintain adequate thickness in the ice before you head on out and venture out.
Yeah, exactly, and especially with those windy conditions, that can create those ice flows as well, and that's kind of what we've had the past few weeks is those kind of at least windy conditions each week, which is called kind of some of those ice flows at least last week.
Depending on when you're watching right now, because the weather changes very quickly, we're talking really warm weather. What we have right now actually came to work today. Windows were rolled down. I was smelling that fresh air.
Blasting the music.
Blasting the music. I mean, I got to admit, I had a little spring fever that was going on today, and I do expect that we're going to be seeing a little bit more of this before things do turn inevitably cooler. But there's also been some fairly wacky wild weather ongoing across the country as well. Matt, what has been some of the latest weather headlines that's really kind of caught your attention? Yeah,
so some of the headlines we've seen is just how like the sky has been like all the weather balloons and a bunch of meteorites and everything. Like it's just been a crazy one. So there's definitely a picture of it in the English Channel, where they caught about a 3-foot meteor going by, and man, that's stunning video right there.
So I want to see this kind of flashback again, because actually scientists, meteorologists, astronomers knew that this was going to happen. It was actually one of the rare instances where we were able to predict its entrance into the atmosphere, and actually was expected to hit the English Channel, and it did. Now, a couple questions I've got for you. This is what's going through my mind right now. This thing did splash down in the English Channel. These things are worth a chunk of cash.
Really? I never knew.
Do you think there are recovery efforts underway to actually get this from the bottom of the English Channel? My curiosity is perked. You say it's about 3 feet in diameter, so this is going to weigh somewhere around maybe 70 kilograms.
Wow.
Meteorites can actually cash in for about $100 per gram. This could be several $100,000 worth of cash laying on the bottom of the English Channel. I don't know, just my imagination.
I guess we gotta go take a flight to the English Channel.
I don't swim.
At least a boat.
I don't swim in cold water though, Matt. So that's not.
Man, I guess we gotta miss out this time.
We'll miss out. That was very cool, but something that was actually predicted before it did occur, and something that was seen. How about this, Matt? What do we got going on here?
Yeah, so we got a sandstorm out in Las Vegas, and man, you think with this blowing sand, it looks like snow almost. But yeah, we got some blowing sand out there. Las Vegas has been pretty interesting. Not only did they get sand, but they got something else coming up in just a few seconds. We'll see that. But yeah,
that just looks nasty, though.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of that.
Sand is just kind of get it going your clothes. And if you don't close your eyes, it could possibly get in your eyes as well.
It clogs the air filters on the vehicles, really wreaks havoc on heating and cooling systems. It's just nasty when that dust and dirt's blowing around. Part of a storm system, active storm track, though, that did actually bring some snow to Las Vegas as well. That was on Valentine's Day. I guess somebody was a little cold-hearted. They did receive a little bit of snow, very, very minimal amounts of snow that came through, but they've seen more than we've seen in the month of February because it's been non-existent for us. Matt, take us through what we're looking at right here.
Yeah, so we've seen a time lapse of downtown Las Vegas, how they got some snow showers, even some rain showers out in the Las Vegas area. Because when you think of Las Vegas, you don't really think of snow, do you? You think of hot desert conditions out there. But yeah, they definitely got some snow showers.
And a few more things.
Yeah.
In addition to just
whatever stays in Vegas, you know. Whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I guess.
Look at that. Well, they can, off that, they could keep the snow because we really don't have much of that or haven't seen much of that so far in our February season as we've been extremely warm. And Matt, you and I were running the data here back at home while we're looking at snow out in Las Vegas. We've barely seen anything this month of February. One of the least snowiest winters on record, at least to date. And we are in the top 10 for our warmest winters to date.
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
We got so much more coming up. We're going to be talking about some of our local weather. We are going to see a little bit of a pattern shift in what is going to be ongoing with a return to at least a taste of some winter. And Matt, in a bit, you're going to be talking Lake Erie ice cover.
Yes.
Some of the do's, the don'ts, and if there's any hope of any ice showing up.
Exactly, yeah. We're going to get some weather facts on there for a second. I'm going to go run and get you a weather fact before we do go to break. But
absolutely. Matt's going to keep us up to date with those latest weather facts and those fun facts as we get rolling on with this WTOL 11 Weather Hangout. Of course, wherever you're watching, WTOL.com or on YouTube or on WTOL 11 Plus, we thank you for watching. And of course, this weekly episode is going to keep you informed with some of the latest weather facts and weather occurrences that are happening here across Northwest Ohio. So take a look at this weather fun fact. We'll see you in a few moments. How about that fun fact? Not only does Mount Washington have the highest wind gusts reported, just last month, they actually broke the record for the coldest wind chill ever recorded in the lower 48 at 108 degrees below zero. How about this? Back here at home, our Valentine's Day that is now just in the past was one of the warmest ones that we've seen in 55 years. We officially hit a high of 54 degrees, and you'd have to go all the way back to 1967 where we hit 55 degrees, warmest one in 55 years. Certainly, I hope you had a chance to enjoy it. Now, as we make that countdown, looking forward at least to the start of spring, we are now 33 days and counting away from the start of spring, at least officially with our average high. By then, March 20th, right around 50 degrees. We will have some warmer days ahead. We've certainly felt our fair share of very warm feeling days, but I do expect we're going to see a change in that. One thing I do want to show you before we get into those changes, very cool occurrence that happened right here in Northwest Ohio, Valentine's Day morning. We had some very rare Kelvin Helmholtz clouds that were visible across the skies in Northwest Ohio, and by chance, did you see this very early on Valentine's Day morning? Now, what's going on in the atmosphere? We've got different amounts of wind shear in the atmosphere. Generally speaking, higher shear aloft, lower wind speeds closer to the surface, and we get an unusual, repetitive rising and sinking motion. Rising air followed by sinking air, rising air followed by sinking air, and that is essentially tipped in one direction due to that higher wind shear aloft that makes it look like or appear like a wavy feature in the sky. Some very rare Kelvin Helmholtz clouds were visible right here in Northwest Ohio. Huge shout out to Kara Fritz from Defiance for capturing this gorgeous photo and passing it along to us. Also seen across many counties and communities here in Northwest Ohio. All right, let's move forward. If you're watching this as we record on Wednesday, looking forward to Thursday. This is going to be when things take a turn toward cooler conditions. We'll be in the upper 30s to lower 40s, mostly to mainly cloudy skies, cooler breeze. And here's the deal. It's going to be coming out of the northeast, and that is typically a very chilly breeze, keeping us cooler with those chilly lake waters just above freezing. Now, we're going to get some occasional rain showers. Highs are going to be close to 40 degrees, barely into the lower 40s, and things get tricky late afternoon and into the evening. Still the chance we get a few rain showers, but heads up to this, an icy, wintry mix. It is going to be possible late afternoon, early evening, and I do expect this is going to start initially across southern Michigan, where we hang a little bit closer to that freezing mark. It may spread into northwest Ohio, especially from the Toledo metro down Route 24 through Napoleon and Defiance along and north of there. Generally take the Maumee River and north. It's going to be a better chance of some icing conditions that will be possible Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. With how recent things have been very warm, I don't expect we get major issues, but we're going to be on the cooler side of this system. And if you look just off to our south and to our east, that is going to be the boundary of temperatures. There are some 25 to 30 degrees warmer, and that's where they're going to have the chance of some stronger storms and even some spring-like thunderstorms across central and southern Ohio. We'll carry that into our Thursday evening. A few bridges and overpasses could get a little slippery as we dip back down closer to that freezing mark. So what to expect as far as any ice accumulation? Not going to be anything major, but I'm going to give you a heads up across southern Michigan, parts of extreme northern Ohio. Could be a couple hundredths of an inch of ice accumulation. That would be mainly on elevated surfaces, and I don't expect overall it's going to cause any big issues. So for your Thursday, rain chances will return. A wintry mix, especially late afternoon and into the evening. Highs will be near 40 degrees. And we'll get some slippery spots that will be possible as we go late into the afternoon and into the evening. So it's not going to be much, but it's a little bit of a return towards some wintry conditions. Coming up in just a few moments, meteorologist Matt Willoughby is coming back with a look at our Lake Erie ice, where we stand right now and where we're going to be going the rest of the season. Stay with us. But for now, enjoy this quick fun fact.
So many of you are wondering, where is the Great Lakes ice? Well, it's pretty much been non-existent this winter season, and total over at least all of Great Lakes has only been around 7% of ice coverage. Now, as you take a closer look, at least into Lake Erie, where we're less than 1%, and you see a small area that does in fact have some ice on it. Well, that thickness is only around 6 to 12 feet, 6 to 12 inches of thickness. Now, the guide as far as when you can ice fish and possibly when you can bring those snowmobiles onto that ice, well, here's the guide. Anywhere from 4 inches, you should be good to go to do any ice fishing. But look at that, 2 inches or less, you should keep off that ice and be careful of any ice flows. But if you go into snowmobiles, even any vehicles, anywhere from 5 inches and above, you should be good to go on that ice. Now, as you look at the ice cover, at least for this year so far, it has been well below average. Normal this year, you usually see around 60%, which is way up here, but we're all the way down here, less than 1% of ice coverage this year so far. So it's just not going to happen this year if you're willing to get any ice cover overall as we go into this year. Now, as we look at it, at least the last 50 years, well, that ice has been declining rapidly. Usually, like I said, we usually see around 60%, but as we've gone throughout each year, well, we've gone down to almost 40% of that declining ice. And eventually, throughout all the Great Lakes, what that can cause, well, those impacts could be more food webs, even hormonal algae, and that water quality can, in fact, go down as we look at those warming of the Great Lakes. Before we have more, enjoy this weather fun fact before we come back with some weather betting after this. negative 67 degrees for an average low.
Nope. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Don't want to think about it. Don't even want to dream about it at that point. It gives you a perspective on how extreme the winter weather really can be in parts of the globe. Certainly not here, though.
Yeah, exactly. I'm still trying to survive these cold winters.
You're really coming into your own, though. You're getting used to it. A couple more times out sled riding. Once we actually get some snow, you're going to be a true native here in Northwest Ohio.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready to sled just one more time. But, of course, we got to get some snow before that.
So will it happen? That's
Will
gonna
it
be the
happen?
question. Are we going to get some snow?
Yes, we're welcoming back our segment, Weather Betting in Ohio. So I came up with a different one right here. We're doing the end of winter, so the entire winter season. We're around 9.5 inches right now, but the question is, will we see about 12 inches? Will we get to 12 inches? Total for the winter season.
This mark, just based on pure history, a foot of snow in a winter season, that would put us basically at the all-time least amount of snowfall that we've ever seen in Northwest Ohio in recorded history, if we only stay at a foot or less.
Exactly.
Wow, that's pretty incredible. I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm going to be pretty firm about this. I'm going to say we're going to be over 12 inches of snow, which still is an incredibly mild, snow-free winter. I do expect we're going to get at least 3 more inches of snowfall. Think about winters here in Northwest Ohio. Part of the things that we're noticing on a climate perspective is that sometimes we get mild winter weather, but the winter season gets extended a little bit more into spring, and it's not uncommon, and you know it, to get March snow, late March snow. Early April snow, mid-April snow. It can happen, and I expect that this year is going to be no different. A little concerned, actually, something we could talk about in a future Weather Hangout, is that the spring bloom itself is now about 3 weeks ahead of schedule, which means we're not seeing any blooms or buds here, but south of the Ohio River, Tennessee, Kentucky, they are about 3 weeks ahead of schedule. Should that progress up here north, we get inevitable cold snaps like this.
Yes.
We're expecting it could be trouble for the growing season. So anyways, I digress, which we can do in a Weather Hangout. I'm going to go over 12 inches, so we will not be the least snowiest season on record. I'll even go ahead and say that we end up with at least 6 inches or more between now and the end of the season, which historically would be less than what we typically would see for late February and March to begin with.
Yeah, I think I could definitely get on board with that. I remember last year, I was like, wow, this is my first time seeing snow in March. So, I mean, we still got a bit of a way to go. So I think I'm going to go over as well for at least 12 inches before the end of winter. But, yeah, it'll be definitely interesting to see as we go throughout the next couple of weeks as we eventually cross over into March in just a couple of weeks.
I would like to see us deliver on that one. Get a little bit more snow just to remind us it is still the winter season. Maybe get the kids another snow day or two before the winter season wraps up. Then we'll be talking all things spring.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait for spring. And it gets to severe weather season.
33 days, if you're counting, at this time of recording. So we really appreciate you joining us. We do expect we are not done with the winter season, as you heard from meteorologist Matt Willoughby, although ice fishing just doesn't seem like it's going to be happening here in the Lake Erie region. We thank you for joining us here on WTOL 11+. If you loved hanging out with us, we love having you along, or on YouTube. We hope to see you back here, same time, same place, next week. Have a great one.